There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. Some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 Series. This is round 6 of season 9. I'm John Van Ree, and tonight we are coming to you from the lovely countryside in France, from Nives, where we are racing at the Magny Cours circuit, as these boys have got their final 3 minutes of practice to go. And with me this evening, I've got Mark Duggan. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, good, thanks, John. How you going? I was panic-stricken there. Had to try and load iRacing about 3 times before I finally got in, but all is well. I'm here now. Hope you're well, and good evening to all our viewers.
Yeah, a very good evening. Terry's with us again this evening. Great to have you back, Mr. Taylor. Love it. As we might have a quick look at this Magny Cours circuit, famously used for Formula One back in the day, Mark. And it starts off on the start-finish straight, where we go through the Grand Curb into turn 2 and then through the big sweeping Estral corner, which will take a lot of force on the tyres. Then down the fastback straightaway through turn 4 Golf, down into the Adelaide hairpin. And then after the Adelaide hairpin, we then come back up through Nürburg, through the 180 corner, and then work our way back through Imola and then up the hill to Chateau d'Eur, where we then come down the hill through the chicane into the Lychee complex, bouncing over curbs 16, 17 and back onto the start-finish straight. We've been here in Vets before, Mark. It's an interesting little track to race at, and I reckon these guys tonight will put on a show here.
Yeah, it's a tough little track to navigate your way around. A few tricky corners. Certainly experimented when I was here with Vets with trying to adjust for my injuries, and it didn't work out well. So, yeah, I didn't have a great night here, but it is a fun little track, and there is some tricky corners, and I expect the boys to go hard, but I am expecting a little bit of chaos tonight, probably.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. And I think these guys will definitely be looking for some interesting moves going down into the Adelaide hairpin. So anyway, let's have a quick look while we wait for these guys to finish off their practice session. We'll jump on, have a quick look at the points. So the series being led quite comfortably by James Scott, then Dylan Rudd in P2, followed by Tom Freer in position 5. In position 3, and then we have our golden ticket holders at the moment, Sean McNamara and Jacob O'Reilly. Them two have been having a ding-dong battle all season. Dylan O'Shea sits in 6th, and then we have Cameron Jones from 9.5 Sim Sport sitting in 7th. Not too far away from O'Reilly, so I would say still half a chance of trying to get a hand on a ticket, along with Connor Nixon from Vermeulen Motorsports in 8th. Aaron Gilbert from Team Jinx Sifter doing really well in 9th, and Chris Blanchard from WK&P sitting in 10th at the moment. And then if we break this down to our Pro Series drivers, it's Scott, Rudd, Freer, McNamara, O'Shea, O'Reilly, Jones and Nixon. And then to go to our Super 2 drivers, it's Chris Blanchard from WK&P leading that competition from Alan Dawson. Dave Coleman from Fishy Motorsports sitting in 3. He's only 1 point behind Dawson. And then we drop down, of course, to Damien Cross from Pacific Esports in front of his teammate Peter Pavlik, and then Troy Stonestreet recovering from a bad round, sitting in 6th. And then Buchanan, Gallen, Keane and Mulford round that one out. And then our vets boys, McNamara, Blanchard, Cross, Pavlik, Stone Street, Gallen, Anthony Visma, Scotty Gamble, Michael Stewart and Jeff Thomas rounds out the table there. As the boys are heading out to get this quali session started, this is going to be a little bit exciting.
Yeah, I think this quali sessions, even the quali session could get quite frantic around this track as everyone jockeys for position. Interesting, McNamara and O'Reilly still pretty close on points, but as you said about Troy Stone Street, one bad round can really damage your standing. So everybody's got to maximise their points for every round with being such a short season, no drop rounds. So Sean McNamara and Jacob O'Reilly really need to watch how they race once again tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for a few of these lads. I might just see if we can pick up where our leader is, our championship leader, James. He's sitting in the middle of a battle here. He's got one of John O'Gallen sitting behind him. Normally we see Dylan Rudd in that position. It's going to be very interesting to see like this change of track for following the quali series because of the golden tickets. So it'd be interesting to see how some of these guys really contest their driving around this circuit this evening. A few of these boys will be using this as a head out, and a few of these boys will be using this session as an opportunity to build the sets for their teammates that are racing tomorrow night. As you can see, Scott about to head down into the chicane, into the Lychee complex. These boys are about to get this started and get their first hot lap underway. You can see using all the curves. This is James Scott. It comes around into Estrel now. We talked about this corner during our track preview. Very, very long corner, raiding up those left-hand side tyres. And then you open up onto the long straightaway through turn 4, through Golf. Not quite a turn, still flat out, full noise, and then all the way down into the Adelaide hairpin. Pull it up, get it around. You've got to get out there nice and neat, get the power back down, over a little bump as well to make it a little bit harder. In through the Nuremberg corner. And then heading down now towards 180. And another tight, slower corner where you're still loading up this time the right-hand side tyres. And then it is now heading back up the hill towards Imola. Very tricky little corner to go out at full noise, knowing that you've got to pull it up in the second part for the left-hander. Use a little bit of extra in a curve there, then pull it up through the shadow down the hill. James is on a pretty quick lap here. Seeing some early times drop in from Ross, O'Reilly and Gamble. And what does James Scott do, our championship leader? Rides it over the curbs out of the Lychee complex. And Scott goes to the top of the leaderboard with a 137.4, putting himself a clear 3/10 ahead of Jordan Ross. So a great little effort there from James. As we see a few others starting to come in. Let's jump on with Brady Baldwin. Looks like he's stuck in a little bit of traffic.
Yeah, just watching James there, John. Certainly wasn't as tricky as I thought it was when I was driving. He made it look pretty easy as he usually does. Another great lap from James Scott. Dylan Rudd jumps up into second. Jordan Ross third. Jacob O'Reilly doing a good job in fourth, followed by Scotty Gamble, Cam Jones, Sean McNamara, Anthony Visma, Riley Bilson and Zach Vlasblom are your 10 at the moment. So early days, still 10 minutes to go, so the boys will probably get another couple of runs at least. And yeah, James Scott's certainly setting the benchmark. He's got a 3.5 gap to P2 at the moment.
Yeah, definitely doing really well. As we look at Zach McDonald, he's got himself in 13th. the young driver from 95 Sim Sports, will be very happy with that result as he looks to work his way in. And Dave Baldock out in the track telling us to turn 16 and 17 are very tricky. One of those corners too where you got to be very careful in the last lap. Very easy to get a slowdown coming out of the light G complex that you will carry over the line and cop a fairly hefty penalty for.
Very tricky pit entry too, John. Comes up on you very quickly, and if you're pitting and somebody's at race pace, it can quickly end in a rear ender. So a little tricky pit entrance there. It's very short pit entry.
Let's have a look at what Peter Pavlik can do. And Pavlik, he's going to stay with the 139.7. That's not too bad from our Super 2 driver. We've got about 6.5 minutes gone already in this quali session, so it is ticking away very quickly on a few of these guys. He's going to jump on board with Jacob O'Reilly. He's got the wood on McNamara at the moment. He's on an outlap. And looking to contest this battle with McNamara. Great opportunity to get a golden ticket into the Pro Series for McNamara and O'Reilly here. Cam Jones as well, trying to get his hand on the trophy. Don't rule out Connor Nixon as well.
Yeah, certainly won't take much for somebody to drop out of contention. It's only going to take one bad round, and it's going to be difficult to recover your position. So, like I said, the boys have really got to race with their head tonight.
Let's drop back to this fairly large group here. This is Cam Jones. So he's got a couple of 9.5 boys in front of him. There's one of the Lobs boys as well. We're all starting to check up a little bit in this group. Of course, we've got with us this evening Chad Lewis as well. So Chad, another one of the Evolution Racing Team drivers, part of the series. Chad checking up at the back here as well. Split one driver for Vets. As we go back to Jones. Jump on the gyro. See if he can catch those boys in front. Hunting down his teammates Zach McDonald and Craig Schultz. You just hear how patient you got to be through these corners. And pull it up into the Adelaide hairpin. I'm interested to see tonight who goes too deep into there. Got to control that wheel spin coming out. As you pop over the hill. And down.
Looks like that's the end of that lap for Cam Jones.
Yep. Let's jump on board with Jordan Ross. Let's see where he is. He's about to come through and cross the line. Does Jordan improve? Waiting to see. Doesn't look like he's got a lap in there as well. Scott Gamble's on an in-lap. Jones might jump on with Damien Johnstone. Scott definitely on all the purple sectors here. He's going to go quicker again, I think. 137.281. That is faster. Zachary Vlasbom looks like he's on a bit of a flyer. He crosses the line. Vlasbom doesn't improve. He stays 10th. Chad Lewis stays 12th. Jump on with Dylan Rudd. He had an orange sector for the first sector. Second sector was green. What can he do coming out of the Lychee complex? And he improves for the 137.593. There's Blanchard, the man leading our Super 2 series. Going to improve his qualifying position. And Blanchard crosses the line. He's going to stay 18th. And we roll over the page. Let's have a look who else is on a flying lap. Brady Baldwin, he hasn't set a time and he's not going to set one there. Ducking into the pit lane straight away, teammate behind him. Teo Serrano. He looks like he might have some car issues here, Mark.
Yeah, not looking good for Teo. A few boys have managed to get off tracks on the current laps. We got one of the big bear cars there sideways on.
Yeah, it was Will Buchanan. He looks like he's stuck up in there. I'm not sure if he's going to require a tow. No, it looks like he's got it going. Just waiting for a clear gap, I think. He's away now. Now it's a bit of a bummer too. He was 2 greens for his first 2 sectors, so he's probably a little bit disappointed in himself doing that. Just keeping an eye. Jordan Ross, he's on his way back out. Only got 3 minutes to go in this session. A few of these boys be looking to improve their times, I think.
Yeah, we've got McNamara and Cam Jones about to start what is going to be their final running quali.
Of course, McNamara will be looking to make up a bit of time on O'Reilly. So far, it looks like it's been a fairly healthy qualifying session, not too many dramas. Definitely hasn't brought the chaos that we thought it was going to bring.
No, it's been very clean. Just a couple of off tracks here and there, nothing major, so boys have done a good job. Joel McNamara has to bail. That's the end of his quali.
Yeah, that's going to hurt. O'Reilly sitting in P4. Vermeulen Motorsports driver having an absolute blinder. As he's on his out lap, that's Teo going hot around him. Let's try and see what Teo's up to. He's still trying to get his hot lap. He's in trouble there as well. That's going to be interesting. We've got some big names down the back, Mark, that have not set times. As O'Reilly starts his hot lap, gets in. But we've still got Ty Delaney, Brenton Hobson, Aaron Gilbert, Brady Baldwin, Coleman have yet to set a time. So some big names down there in that group.
Yeah, I haven't even seen Dave Coleman on track. I'm not sure if I've missed him, but yeah, Brenton Hobson, another one which is surprising to see all the way back there. Brenton's usually one of the front runners and previous series champion, so not sure if Brenton's just had a few off tracks and hasn't negotiated the track properly, but we're down to about 50 seconds to go, so not many chances left for anybody.
Nah, last roll of the dice for all these boys, I think. Might just have a look where James Scott is. Is he going to get his group across the line in time? It looks like they will. Easily make it. Coming down into the Lychee complex, and he's away on his hot lap. And a roll back, Jacob O'Reilly. He is on his hot lap now, so let's see what he can do here. Coming in. Green sector for the second sector. He'd be pretty chuffed with that. Bouncing over the curbs. And crosses the line, doesn't improve. O'Reilly stays in P4. And on track to keep an eye on, chasing that down, of course, will be Cameron Jones, who's going slow. So I think he may have missed his opportunity to improve, and that's got him on an outlap. And Robert Gibbs is sitting in P7.
Brenton Hobson with another off track on that lap, so he hasn't set a time.
Shout out to Steve Murray, he's jumped in and joined us as well. As we see what Robbie Gibbs can do. One of the top 20 pro drivers from the Logitech series. Sitting in P7 at the moment. And gets himself across into the pits, so he's not going to improve. And Jacob O'Reilly, I think he's on an in-lap. James Scott has finished his session off. He's going to stay at 137.28. Rudd a 137.6, so definitely a convincing drive in quali from James Scott again. Jordan Ross is going to hang on to that P3 spot from O'Reilly. Damien Johnstone, he's going to be sitting in P8 as well. We've got O'Reilly, Gamble, Cam Jones, Robbie Gibbs, Johnstone, McNamara, Baldwin, Flashbomb, Riley Bilson, Anthony Visma, Chad Lewis, Connor Nixon, Zach McDonald, Craig Schultz. So if you look at the golden ticket game, Mark, there are some boys that are hanging a bit further back than where they probably would like to be in the forms of Nixon and McNamara in terms of O'Reilly.
Probably Connor Nixon, probably a little bit disappointed, but we know Connor's got plenty of speed in races pretty well, so expect him to maybe gain some positions. Sean McNamara, P9. Not a complete disaster, but probably not as far forward as he would want to be. So he's just going to have to show some patience and just maximise what he can out of the night and see where he falls.
Yeah, let's throw up the grid mark and have a look at it as we've got time. James Scott, of course, needs to update his SDK because it is meant to be Lob Esports with a 137.281, and he's going to line up alongside his teammate Dylan Rudd. And then on the second row of the grid is Synergy Sim Racing's Jordan Ross alongside Vermeulen Motorsports' Jacob O'Reilly. Scotty Gamble representing WK&P Sim Sports sitting in 5th alongside 95 Sim Sports' Cam Jones. Robbie Gibbs from the Evolution Racing team sitting in 7th, and he's going to line up alongside Damien Johnstone from Synergy Sim Racing. El Supremo from 95 Sim Sports, Sean McNamara is in 9th alongside Synergy Sim Racing's Brady Baldwin. And then we drop back to 11th where Zachary Vlashbaum from Vermeulen Motorsports is alongside Riley Bilson from 95 Sim Sports. Over the page, we go to Anthony Visma from Accelerate Sim Racing, and he's going to line up alongside Chad Lewis from Evolution Racing Team. Connor Nixon from Vermeulen Motorsports in 15th alongside the young gun from 95 Sim Sports, Zach McDonald. Craig Schultz from 95 Sim Sports in 17th is going to line up alongside Dave Kirby from Fishy Motorsports. And then in 19th, we've got Timmy Mulford from Phoenix Racing Team lining up alongside WK&P's Christopher Blanchard. Ty Delaney, the Minnow from Fishy Motorsports, is in 21st, lining up alongside Troy Stonestreet from SimTech Performance. And then on the next row of the grid, we've got Dan Hall from the Evolution Racing Team in 23rd, and he's going to line up alongside Q Ports Racing Scotty Van Loon. And over the page, we roll into Damien Cross from Pacific Esports, lining up alongside Alan Dawson from Riot Sim Racing. Pete Pavlich from Pacific Esports Racing in 27th, lining up alongside Simon Chadwick from 9.5. Dylan Gray from SLM Motorsports is in 29th, and he's going to line up alongside Pacific Esports' John Gallen in 30th. Will Buchanan from Big Bear Racing will be sitting in 31st, lining up alongside Blake Gallen from WK&P. Russell Gander, a privateer, sitting in 33rd, is going to line up alongside Altus Australia's Teo Serrano. And then in 35th, without setting a time, we've got Brenton Hobson from Synergy Sim Racing lining up alongside Dave Coleman from Fishy Motorsports. And roll over the page, we have Aaron Gilbert as well, not setting a time from Team Jinx Shifter. Reg James is our race control, Richard Barella is our safety car driver, and Gunther von Nodslife, aka Dave Worrell, is our DSO for the evening. It is a cracking looking grid, Mark.
Yeah, big field. I wouldn't want to be starting back where Hobson and Co are starting. Got to negotiate that little tricky chicane before you even get on the start grid. So tricky start for them boys.
It's a long
Looks
way
like
back there. It is a long way back. Sorry, Mark.
yeah, and it looks like the wind is blowing. I can see the trees moving on my thing. It's a 30k an hour wind, which is unusual.
And we're about to go. Lights are out. We are racing. A little bit of a wheel spin there from Dylan Rudd's allowed a few of the guys to jump him. James Scott looks like he's got it under control quite well. As we look back a bit further, back to Robbie Gibbs, 2-3 wide going. Oh, a little bit of a touch there. One of the Synergy boys sliding out. It looks like it might be okay though. No one else is involved in that. Looks like we're all going to get through the Astral turn all right, coming down into the Adelaide hairpin for the first time in a second after we pass through golf. This will spare, we're going to see the big braking. This is the first time we're going to see it. One of the 9.5 boys going inside there. Looks like it was Jones. Up the inside of O'Reilly. He's going to make that work. Still side by side. This is an absolute cracker. There's someone spinning in the background. It looks like it might have been Dylan Gray. But we'll keep going here with Vermeulen and Jacob O'Reilly. As coming down into the 180 curve. The boys now starting to settle out, I think, into a bit of a single file, Mark.
Not quite a single file, but we're getting close, John. Jacob O'Reilly hanging tough there with Cam Jones and being able to hold on position. So that was pretty good driving from them two boys. Bit of a scrape on the side of Cam Jones's car where they made a bit of contact. I think it was Damien Johnson that went off early in the lap there, because I can't see him in the top 10 where he was starting from.
Yeah, just trying to find that one now. I think it was Damien. A couple of others, little instances as well. Dan Hall was involved in something coming out of 180. As watch these boys bounce through here for the first time. Jordan Ross comfortably up into second spot. An incident involving Brady Baldwin with someone in the wall in the background. Brady Baldwin, Riley Wilson and Anthony Vismus been noted. And it might have been Baldwin into the wall, I think, Mark.
Yeah, I've heard him on the radio. It looks like, I think Jordan Ross possibly got a slowdown. He's still trying to clear it by the look of it, because he's dropping back through the field at the moment. He's back down to 6th position.
Gamble moves into P4. This is a great little contest for this group. We'll stay on this for a few more minutes, I think, Mark. Plenty of action to go back and look at, but we'll get to that when we can. Still and great. Jacob O'Reilly's got through on Rudd as well. After that lock up on the start there, Rudd's trying to fight his way back. A little bit of a slowdown there, I think, for McNamara to allow Jordan Ross to get past.
Yeah, I think Sean's got to slow down now. He's trying to clear that, but yeah, Ross held him pretty tight on that corner.
It definitely doesn't want to be dropping down the leaderboard. He needs to be staying in touch. Does Sean McNamara. Jacob O'Reilly up 2 spots in the P2. McNamara drops another 2. Otto Nixon's got past him.
Just really had to pull up the car then and just let that, I think he still had that slowdown. Hopefully he hasn't got a black flag from it.
Plenty of action in these early laps. Of course, 2 compulsory pit stops for the boys tonight. And a little bit of room there as Nixon and McNamara lightly touch. Might take the opportunity to go back and have a look what happened to Brady Baldwin at start of lap 2. Go to the Supercheap Auto replay. Baldwin got caught a little wide in the Lychee complex over the curb. A little bit more of a tap on the pit gas. It's found the wall. I'm not sure whether Dave Kirby's involved in this. I think he might be, or he's done a similar issue. Kirby's got out of the way. He's done a similar issue. And Dan Hall was the other one from ERT. This was back on lap 1 in 180. And just seeing if there's any contact here, or he's done it on his own. Oh, a little bit of a touch there from one of the fishy cars. Leave that one for race control to look at, Mark.
Yep, some pretty tricky action out there on track. Just Sean McNamara was also involved in some stuff there with Anthony Visma, and who else was involved? Could have been Zach Blasblom, I'm not sure.
Yeah, plenty happening early on. Let's jump back on the Jacob O'Reilly. He's doing really well. Dylan Rudd trying to hunt him down. He's going to go back a little bit further. Craig Schultz up 5 spots and sitting in 12th. He's had a great start to this race. Got Lewis in front, McDonald behind. A great little battle with these guys here at the moment. So he'd be quite happy the way he's going. Just looking in on Teo Serrano, he's up 15 spots. So he's done quite well. Stay out of most of the chaos. Hobson up 14 spots to 21st. That is another great drive from Hobbe. He's got the knack of being able to find the gaps. Doing really well. And Riley Belson with Lewis, Schultz, McDonald, Johnstone, Tim Mulford. These boys all lining up behind. So a great little contest there. Just going to jump back further up. Dylan Rudd hunting down the Vermeulen car in front of him.
Yeah, Dylan's been able to settle down and get his house in order. He's really reduced that grip, that gap to Jacob O'Reilly quite quickly. So Jacob probably just going to yield by the look of it, unless he's got a slow down there. But it looks like made it very easy for Dylan, and now Dylan backing his starting spot of P2.
It's a difficult track. Like, you want to attack, it's got the room to attack, but you just got to be that little bit careful. You just don't take too much curb, because it will throw that slow down at you.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times already tonight, John, that even, the big names are picking up slowdowns and causing headaches for themselves. So Ty Delaney looks like he's in for an early stop. Not sure if that's damage related or whether it's tactical. So Ty Delaney first in for the pit stops.
Yeah, it could be a little bit of a tactical move as well. Get himself into some clean air.
Oh no, sorry, Ty Delaney was black flagged, so
Ooh.
he got a penalty from race control.
I've got a great little battle here with Gibbs, Gamble and Jones. There's Scotty Gamble, the man in the middle. You can see he's losing the back of that Robert Gibbs, the RT car at the moment. The Gibbs up 2 spots. Lap 5 for 46.
Connor Nixon's pitted as well, John. I think that was damage related because he was caught up in a few incidents down around the Adelaide hairpin. So Connor Nixon's got one pit stop done. Going to be a long stint, I would think, before he gets his second one under them.
It's still a long way to go. You see how rough they are coming out of that little IG complex. Big shout out to the Nova Castrian Matty Mascord in the chat as well. Great to have you in the chat, Matt. One of our regular drivers from East Coast over the seasons.
Yeah, shout out to Matty. Go the fellow Nova Castrians.
Cam Jones here nicely sitting behind Gamble. Does he have a look down here in Adelaide? And comes in, nicely done, Gamble. Playing the long game here, comes back at him a little bit.
And we've already seen tonight, John, the Adelaide hairpin, they're causing a few issues for drivers. People getting sideways coming out and then getting hit by drivers coming in. So, yeah, it's a very tricky place to pull the car up and get out of again. So we've already seen tonight that it's caught quite a few drivers out.
Yeah, definitely got to keep an eye on the rest of that one for the evening. Damien Johnstone, he's recovered himself back up to 14th after that incident at Estrol very early on after the start. So he's fighting his way back in. And Hobson is up in 16 spots now, tucked up behind Teo Serrano.
Jones with a tyre, right rear or left rear tyre on the dirt, and just loses it coming into the final chicane, but only loses one spot to Scotty Gamble. I did flick back through that Damien Johnson incident. It looked like it was just neck code with Robbie Gibbs. It was pretty bad neck code as well. There's quite a significant gap between the cars still.
Cam Jones did very well to hang on to that, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. That could have ended very badly, but he managed to hang on, and yeah, he hasn't lost too much out of it at all. So as long as it doesn't play on his mind, he'll be fine.
I'm just going to jump back, have a look at Brady Baldwin, see how he's going fighting back from that final turn spin. He's in a little battle pack here with Pavlich. Visma tucked up behind him. Visma's down 17 spots as well. Visma hasn't pitted either, so I'm assuming he might have had a little spin somewhere along the journey as well. So definitely a lot of work being done here by a few boys to try and get their noses back up towards the front. And I know Brady using this as a hit out for tomorrow night's Pro Series qualifying. A little bit of a tap on Gray. Gray's been spun. And getting himself going again. No, he wasn't too bad, but not great for either of them. It's going to jump back up. Zach McDonald, the young gun from 9.5. He's got Damien Johnstone all behind him now from Synergy Sim Racing. So knowing Damien, he would have the bit between his teeth. A little bit of red mist from that lap 1 incident. And trying to fight his way back up. Going to check on Zachary Vlasbaum. He is up 3 spots into 8th.
Coleman with a spin as well.
He's got it going. Where is he, Dave? Let's have a look. Yeah, Supercheap Auto replay. Coleman into Lychee as well. Too hot. Oh, the boys behind him were just as hot. Coleman lucky enough to be out of the way there. Get control real quick. And Vlasbaum has McNamara trying to work his way back. Of course, McNamara would be counting the spots up to O'Reilly in front. Connor Nixon, of course, was that early pit stop on lap 4. Giving McNamara a little bit of breathing space, but I don't think he's going to want to let O'Reilly get too far ahead at this stage.
Yeah, McNamara's been tucked up behind Vlasbaum for a few laps now. He just can't seem to find a way past. Clearly, the Vermeulen Motorsport's got some good straight line speed down that back straight. So Sean just going to have to remain patient here. They did close down on Jones and Gamble there for a while, but that gap seems to be just slowly opening back out a bit as they start to battle intensely.
Yeah, definitely a battle and a half going on. They want to be a little bit careful. They don't lose their way a little bit too much. Just going to jump down, have a look at this battle pack we had before. They're still all going pretty hard. Jump on with Scotty Van Loon from Q Ports Racing. He's got Teo Serrano, who's up 15 spots behind. Scotty's up 6. Hobson's gotten through Scotty as well. Another one of our vets drivers campaigning in the series this season. Talking to him the other night, learning heaps with the open set racing. and absolutely enjoying it. So doing really well is Scotty as Serrano gets through, and he'll be fighting it out hard now with fellow vet driver Stone Street tucked up behind. Then jump back up the front. Jacob O'Reilly now has Ross the Boss tucked up behind him.
Yeah, we saw Jordan in P2 there for a little while, but then got that big slowdown and dropped all the way back to 6 from momentarily. He's back up to 4th, I think, and not far behind Jacob O'Reilly. Jacob doing a good job to hang on to Dylan Rudd as well. He let Dylan Rudd through a few laps ago, but Dylan hasn't really been able to open that gap up to any significant length at the moment.
Yeah, definitely working hard, which is good to see. As we jump on board inside the car. In 6th. Get the speed up, pull it all the way back, slowest corner on the circuit, get it down to 50 kilometres an hour. And back on the gas again. You can see how this circuit just flows, Mark. You've got to be really 10 tenths on the apexes. Going into that one there at 220. Going to pull it up to 180. Back down to about 100 clicks. 80 clicks there. Back on the gas again. You just got to be so careful of the wheel spin coming out of 180 with the change of direction. Then we come up, in through Imola, over the rise. Got to carry that speed, then ease it out of the car. Get back onto it up to the shadow. Pull the car back up again. Another 80 kilometre corner, 70 k's almost. Back on the gas. Coming down the hill now. Flows through what they call chicane. You curve down, then you see the apex coming into Lychee itself. Slow it down. 90 k's, and then we've got to get this section here right through the rest of the complex. You're doing that at 120 k's, riding those bumps. Get it wrong, the car will flick right out. Back on the gas, 220 k's. Now ride it through the grand curve. Ride it again. Now into Estrol. Oh, you just got to be patient. The car's still doing 130 k's, loading up that left-hand side tyre, and then back on the gas. Can't go too early. You don't want to control the wheel spin again. Down the straightaway, in through Gulf, hook it in, 240, 250 kilometres an hour. Now we're going to pull it right up back to 50 k's in Adelaide. It is a tough track for these boys, Mark.
It's a pretty good lap there from Jacob. He's doing a great job. But like you said, hitting them apexes is critical, but also you really got to manage the exits, because the car just wants to light up on so many corners around here.
I can see why they're using this for a qualifying track for the Pro Series. Very technical for the guys to get right, and very technical for the guys to make the moves as well. In terms of overtaking and planning the move, as this race is sort of starting to settle a little bit. James Scott, our race leader, on lap 11. He has got himself out 7.8 seconds ahead of Dylan Rudd. Dylan, of course, in a little bit of a battle here with O'Reilly and Ross. So great drive from Jordan. And of course, Ross, one of the guys in the qualifying series as well, some business for a hit out. Robbie Gibbs, one of our Pro Series drivers. He's sitting in 5th spot, managing the gap behind him to Scotty Gamble, who's only a second behind. And then he has Cam Jones from 95 Sim Sports. These two settling into a great little battle, I think, that will go to the end of this race. And they're 4.5 seconds up the road from Zachary Vlashbaum in 8th. He's up 3 spots. And he's got Sean McNamara from 95 Sim Sports tucked up behind. Sean definitely working really hard here as well. One of our guys leading the competition, or the guy leading the competition for the golden tickets at the moment. Him and Jacob O'Reilly squaring off for that one with Connor Nixon. Riley Belson from 95 Sim Sports, he's tucked up in 10th. Chad Lewis On debut here at East Coast for ERT, he's having a cracking drive, holding off Craig Schultz behind. Zach Mack a little bit further back, Damien Johnstone, Blanchard, our Super 2 leader in 15th. There has been some cracking drives in this top 15 already, Mark, and we're not even half race distance.
No, good to see Chad Lewis come and have a race with us tonight. He's another Vets driver, doing a good job just outside the top 10. Pretty clean racer, really good guy, and yeah, good to see him out here having a crack with us, getting ready for another crack tomorrow night.
There's McNamara tucked up behind Flashbomb here.
I'm sure Sean's been a little bit frustrated with his race tonight. He managed to get all the way up to 5th and he's dropped back to 9th, so he just hasn't been able to find his way past Flashbomb, and I'm sure if he does, I think he'd probably stretch that margin a little bit, but Flashbomb doing a good job in defending and not... Oh, there's a commentator's curse if we ever heard one. Sorry, Zach.
Oh, it's, yeah. McNamara through the gate. Doesn't take much. Bilson now tucked up behind as well.
Yeah, it doesn't take much at all, John, around here. Like, there's so many hand grenades in these corners that you can come around and just have one go off right in front of you, and when you least expect it. So, and then Sean with a bit of a lock up.
He's going to pay for that one. No, he's going to get away with it. I was about to say, Mark, we talked about it at the start of the show, how Estrol and the 180 corners, you just got to be so patient and so careful.
Yeah, you certainly don't need to be more than a metre or so deep under brakes, and it can absolutely punish you around here. So you've got to be very, very efficient on your brake markers.
Definitely a tough track. It looks like Bilson's going to be the first one out of our top 10 to peel off into pit lane. Get this first stop out of the way. Don't forget, we're going to make 2 compulsory pit stops.
Yeah, so we're 14 laps in, John. We've still got 32 laps remaining. But yeah, Riley Bilson, really the first stop in a tactical sense. We did see Connor Nixon pit early, but I'm pretty sure that was to repair some damage. So yeah, I'd be interested to see where Bilson comes out in terms of position with Riley Bilson.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how it all pans out. It's going to go back to Scotty Van Loon for a minute. He's in this battle pack here with Serrano, Mulford, Stone Street, Dawson. These guys having a cracking little battle. And just going to go back up. Chad Lewis, Craig Schultz. Lewis has gone wide. A great little battle there for Lewis. The door's been opened and Schultz has gone. Zach McDonald now moving up into the background there. Jacob O'Reilly is in third. He still hasn't let Rudd get too far ahead, but Ross now closing the gap up to O'Reilly, so need to keep an eye on that one for a bit, Mark. Jared Philsell saying it's a mint track. It was one of the classic old F1 circuits. And most of the curves coming named off corners at Formula One tracks or Formula One circuits. That's where they get names from. Adelaide, Nestrol and Nürburgring. Imola.
Keep an eye on this gap with Scotty Gamble, Cam Jones on Robbie Gibbs. I think this is just starting to close down on Robbie, and be interesting to see if they can actually get onto the back of him.
Yeah, definitely getting to that stage where we'll see who's got the tyre wear to go that little bit longer, who hasn't, and who probably needs to start thinking about peeling in. This is about the stage where I'd be estimating most of the guys be thinking about that first stop. No safety cars in the first 16 laps.
Yeah, fair bit of runoff area on this track, so not really expecting any safety cars unless someone pops that engine going down into Adelaide. But yeah, there's quite a bit of runoff in this track, so probably a good chance we're not going to see a safety car tonight.
Yeah, that was the conversation I had with the chief steward before we got started this evening. He was saying that he wasn't expecting too many.
After that comment from me, I guess cue the safety car.
A little bit of fuel saving there from Cam. Richie Barella back in the safety car tonight, so don't have to worry about someone running into it. Of course, our safety car driver last week is one of the regular safety car drivers in Vets who had someone accidentally hit the safety car a couple of weeks back and put it on its lid. Ironically, his brother is chief steward of the Pro Series.
Jacob O'Reilly's still hanging on to Dylan Rudd here. Dylan hasn't been able to open up that gap at all, so clearly Jacob quite comfortable in his car with the setup he's got in the car at the moment, and yeah, he's pretty much matching what Dylan can do, but James Scott, what can we say, he's just put on a masterclass once again, and yeah, pretty much his race to lose at the moment.
Yeah, definitely his race to lose.
Jacob O'Reilly, as I gave him a big round of applause, he just gets a slowdown.
It's a tough corner coming out of that Lychee complex. You're encouraged to try and attack and take the curb, and that's what happens to you. Cam Jones about to try and make a move on Gamble here. That gap closed right down for a second.
Yep, them boys are still inching towards Robbie Gibbs as well, so this could turn into a three-way battle very quickly.
And Serrano and Hall into the pits. So definitely some strategy about to come into play with for a few of these guys. Seeing a few more rolling in now with Baldwin, Ty Delaney, Dave Kirby and Aaron Gilbert as well.
Yeah, Sean McNamara is pitted as well, Craig Schultz, Damian Johnson, Chad Lewis, so a lot of boys getting that pit stop done around third race distance, so probably splitting the race into three.
I know when we were here with Vets, tyre wear was big. So it'd be interesting just to get some feedback on how these guys are going, particularly these ones doing the longest stint with their tyre wear. It's Dave Coleman involved in an incident, Mark. We might have a quick look at the Supercheap Auto replay. Looks like he's done it by himself. He's found the grass a little bit. He's going to go a bit wide on the exit. Oh, Dave. There's a big wall there. That's coming out of Estrol, of course. And go back to live pictures. Let's just see if Coleman has got it going. Yeah, he's got it going again. Jump back up on the Timmy Mulford. He's in a good little battle here with Scotty Van Loon. Loon under attack from Troy Stone Street behind. Stone Street peels off into the pits. This is some great racing here from some of our Super 2 boys.
Yeah, good to see Scotty Van Loon out there having a crack. He's fairly new to sim racing, and he's a vets driver and doing a pretty cracking job for somebody who hasn't been at it long.
Yeah, he definitely works hard, asks a lot of questions. Definitely loves his iRacing, loves his V8's. Very avid fan and supporter of quite a few of the top guns in the Pro Series. It's not uncommon to see Scotty's name pop up on the Facebook pages there. As Hobson here under a lot of pressure from Riley Bilson. Bilson, of course, has fresher tyres, pitting on lap 13. Hobson went in on lap 9. I'm going to go back up to Robbie Gibbs. He still hasn't pitted. He's in trouble here with Cam Jones. Getting past.
Got a gamble, got past as well, so I'm not sure what happened to Robbie on that last couple of laps, but he's dropped 2 positions. Looks like he's struggling a little bit with some grip issues.
We're not sure. I'm just going to have a look there. Got a bit loose coming into the final part of the complex. Jones nicely snuck it through. Gibbs with all the work to do again. Mulford into the pits. And Scotty Gamble now is sitting in 5th. Bit of clean air. He'll probably have to put his nose down now. Concentrate on apexes and exits. And Dylan Rudd still has Jordan Ross with him. A great drive from Jordan thus far.
Yeah, they've opened a little bit of a gap on Jacob O'Reilly after Jacob got that slowdown. Jacob again, what are we on, lap 19, about to start lap 20, so I'm sure the tyres are feeling pretty second-handed at the moment for all these boys that haven't pitted yet.
Yeah, definitely a lot of work to be done still though. Lap 20 of 46, they haven't even hit the halfway mark as they both come into the pits.
O'Reilly in as well.
Yep, and Rudd, O'Reilly. So, see some movers and shakers. James Scott coming up to lap a little bit of traffic here, Russell Gander. Hey, Russell doing really well in this series. Another one of our vets drivers, but the split 3 vets driver, Mark. So he's doing really well to hold his own here with some of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on him for getting out there and having a crack. John McNamara tucked up right behind his teammate Craig Schultz here. I'm sure Sean would want to clear Craig as quickly as possible. All the boys have made their stops in front and have come out, so Sean hasn't really made any inroads at the moment.
Definitely Van Loon into the pits this time by. So Schultz definitely trying to carry the boss along here. Jacob O'Reilly in 6th is the leader of our stoppers. And of course he's got Ross and Rudd behind, so we'll have a look in a minute. We'll wait for the lead 5 to stop and then we'll go through the pit fuel strategies, give everyone an opportunity to have a look at the numbers and have a bit of an idea of who took on how much as James Scott peels in. It's our race leader going down pit lane. What does Gamble do in P2? Hey, Scotty comes in. He's going to duck in as well. Jones. He's going to go one more. Gibbs is in. So the old overcut, undercut scenario in play at the moment. As James Scott manages to get himself back out on track, not too far behind Jones. And O'Reilly, Ross and Rudd have worked their way past. And see where Craig Schultz rolls through here. With McNamara, are they going to catch up? And Gambo is out and about.
McNamara gets past his teammate Craig Schultz, so gone back up into 8th spot. He's up 1 spot from his starting position. Jacob O'Reilly ahead of him in 3rd, so still tight with between them boys on points for them golden tickets. I think if Sean can maintain where he is, he'll probably still hold a slender margin for the evening. So still a lot to play out, but John?
Well, absolutely. 21 to 46, not even halfway, Mark. These guys are racing really well. Jordan Ross under a lot of pressure from Dylan Rudd, though. Dylan be looking to make the most of these new set of tyres.
There's about a second difference in their pit stop, so that's how Jordan's been able to jump Dylan, and Jacob O'Reilly was 3 or 4 seconds quicker than them under pits, so Jacob's second stop may be a little bit longer.
And just having a look at the pit strategy board now that Cam Jones is in, we can see that Scott, he's got one more lap than O'Reilly. Ross and Rudd, Gamble, Gibbs went the same. Jones one more. McNamara is a whole 4 laps less, and Hobson is the man who went early, pitting on lap 9. So just got to see how that plays out. And of course, Connor Nixon in early with that drive-through or damage. I can't remember exactly which one, but yeah, he's got a bit of work to do back there in 16th. As we go back to that one, and I'm just going to put up the pit time just so we can have a look on the side there. So Scott stopped for 3 seconds longer than O'Reilly. Jordan was 15, Rudd was 16. So O'Reilly definitely short filled on that first one. So expect the other blokes to probably gain a little bit on the next set of stops, time-wise. And 9.5 for Nixon, which was a very short stop.
Yeah, I think Connor was it was all about getting the car repaired, so I think he probably just got the car repaired because it was quite early in the race, so he probably still had a full tank of fuel. Put some fresh tyres on, used his fast repair and got going again.
Back to 15th where he started. That's not too bad a damage control. And of course the half race distance, so still a fair way to go here. As we jump on Sean McNamara. Coleman getting out of their way, acknowledging the battle that we've got here with us. And see McNamara with Schultz and Johnstone behind him.
Yeah, we saw Damien go off at turn 1 there with that big neck code contact. Unfortunately, he qualified pretty well, but he's managed to race his way back up into the top 10, so he's doing a good job, and he'll be looking to put Craig Schultz under plenty of pressure in these coming laps.
Yeah, McNamara looking quite composed here. Settled into the second stint quite well.
Cam Jones has managed to get past Robbie Gibbs after coming out from his pit stop and being behind Gamble and Gibbs, but he's been able to get past Gibbs, and now he's tucked up behind Scotty Gamble. Scotty Gamble doing a great job. Another Vets driver sitting in P4 at the moment, I think, so P5. So great job from Scotty. Cam Jones looking to put the pressure on him, and that last complex, them curves in that last complex are bloody terrifying watching the cars bounce through there.
Oh, they cop a flogging.
I don't know if they do any damage for pit stop times, but yeah, they really bounce through there, you would think. I know that at Montreal since they changed some of the curving, the rules there. Like I was getting damage on the car when I went over them curves, which never used to occur.
I think definitely when they tightened up Montreal, they took a lot of the fun out of it a little bit. Now these boys are definitely having a cracking drive here. There's Gamble with Jones tucked up behind.
Like Jordan Ross with the slowdown there, just letting Dylan Rudd through.
Ross would be lucky to try and hang on to O'Reilly as much as he can though, so we'll see what's going on. As we come down into the Lychee complex. And just see how hard those cars hit that curve, Mark.
Yeah, they're copping a beating over that thing. I'm not sure how long they'd last in real life. A bit like turn 1 at Adelaide.
Damien Johnstone, he's tucked right up behind Craig Schultz now. They're doing well. Chad Lewis just behind these boys, sitting in 11th, just outside the top 10. And up the inside, Johnstone gets the job done. Schultz is going to put up the big argue. Still a bit of side by side coming into the Nürburg corner. And Schultz gets himself back in front. Only to have Johnstone having a look up the inside through 180. There's some great side-by-side racing heading up the hill to Imola.
Yeah, good racing there from the boys. Craig Schultz doing a great job. He's one of the big improvers in this series for sure. He was in Super 2 a couple of seasons ago, won that. He did stepped up to the next level in last season, and now he's sitting inside the top 10 for this season. So he's doing a good job out there.
Yeah, having an excellent run. He's going to jump on a bit further back, some of our Super 2 boys. The Viz in all sorts of battle here with Baldwin, Stone Street, Blanchard and Hall in front. A nice little tight battle pack. I think we might have had an incident with Riley Bilson too, Mark. I'm just going to see if I can find it for us.
Yeah, I did hear him on the radio calling for race control.
So, looks like there might be a little bit of net code involved in that. First bit of that one. I think that's all we got to see. So, Bilson, the victim of the net code there, I think. Gets put out to the outside. We'll jump back to live pictures. And jump back up to Jordan Ross. This battle's starting to get a bit tight again. He's going to go back, Cam Jones, all over the back of Robbie Gibbs now.
Yeah, that's a position that's traded places a few times already tonight. Cam Jones was past Scott Gamble and Robbie Gibbs, and then they made their way past back Cam Jones, and then they swapped again, and then under pit strategy, Cam Jones fell behind, and he came out, got past Robbie Gibbs, and now Robbie's back in front. So these boys are having a ding-dong battle.
Been very entertaining. As Jones here looking for a way, but Gibbs driving really well. Goes deep this time. Let's open the door up a little bit. That's allowed Gibbs to get away from.
It doesn't take much to skip a few car lengths, and it's very easy to do in a corner to just bite off a metre more than you can handle, and yeah, you just end up in all sorts of trouble under brakes, which happens at quite a few corners around here. So pretty good test for these boys tonight, and I think it'll be another good test for the Pro Series tomorrow night.
Definitely the top 20 boys there fighting out for the opportunity to go against the 20 of the best from last season. And of course, some big names in that series in the likes of Jared Filsell, Griffin Gardner. So definitely those two boys racing for the bragging rights of the victory, and not to mention the close proximity of the rest of this group that are racing in that series. So definitely worth a look. So Australian Sim Racing Group YouTube page. I'm sure there'll be plenty of links on their Facebook and socials. Definitely worth a look tomorrow night. Of course, brought to you by SimSpeed TV as well. There's Gamble now. He's under a bit of pressure from Gibbs. So this group definitely ebbing and flowing.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just saw Dylan Rudd's made his way past Jordan Ross. So Dylan now right up under the back of Jacob O'Reilly, who's still out there doing a sensational job for Vermeulen Motorsports.
Oh, right up behind. Here's Robbie Gibbs. As he comes down the hill through the chicane into the Lychee and then the Lychee complex. Watch from the rear of the car down low here how they bounce off these curbs. And try and pointer and get the power down again. Using all the track limits and then some these lads. See the different lines being used to get around the tight long estuary. You can see how twitchy the car is of Robbie Gibbs coming out. Robbie Gibbs though within shooting zone here of the slipstream of Scotty Gamble. Watch him close the gap heading towards the Adelaide hairpin. Hard under brakes. Oh, right up behind. And back on the gas again. You can see the cars twitch, getting that power down. The V8 supercar, one of the hardest cars to race on the iRacing platform. Takes a lot of skill level to get the right brake bias, to get the right brake balance, and then of course the trail braking, get that correct. Then the acceleration, the use of the throttle. And you got to do all this while you're thinking about the guy behind you being within 0.2 of a second. And you see right up the back there. Gamble under a lot of pressure here. As we said, good hit out for tomorrow night for these boys. They'll be under this sort of pressure again. Gibbs right on those curbs.
Not sure what's going on with Anthony Visma. I just noticed he's got a black flag for something. Not sure if it's incident points or what, but he definitely got a big black flag next to his name.
I haven't seen his name pop up on any of my things, so I'm not sure what it would be for, Mark.
Yeah, it could be an iRacing penalty because I just looked at the entry list and it's definitely got a black flag against it.
Serrano and Hobson and rolled into the pits for their second stop, getting them out of the way on lap 30. As we jump on here, Jacob O'Reilly has Dylan Rudd and Ross the Boss now getting up close behind him. So this is a battle for the minor spots on the podium. Our championship leader, El Supremo, James Scott, is 18 seconds up the road from these boys. Probably
Yeah,
to make enough time for his next stop.
Yeah, I just looked at that gap that's really extended, and yeah, James Scott, like I said earlier, putting on another masterclass tonight and showing everybody how to drive a V8 supercar around Magny Cours.
Of course, said last week, using these races to build the setup for Jared Philsell. I'm sure Jared would be very appreciative of what he's seeing this evening.
Yeah, a lot of experience in that team. I'm sure they don't have to scratch their heads too hard to get the setup right. I'm sure Jared's got plenty of input into that as well. So clearly a very strong team, and yeah, they'll be a force to be reckoned with in the Pro Series once it gets underway good and proper.
As you can see, Jordan Ross tucked right up behind though. O'Reilly made to work extremely hard here.
Yeah, there's another Group 3 car's pretty much been nose to tail since the start of the race. Clearly there's nothing in it between the three of them in terms of speed. Jacob there, really because he made a bit of a shorter pit stop, but other than that, they're been very close on lap times.
Yeah, done really well. You can sort of just see from that onboard view there with Jordan Ross how these guys use every millimetre of the track limits they can. So you can see how hard they're pushing. You can understand how they're getting these slowdowns, pushing too far. As Rudd peels off early. Didn't expect that. So
that looked like it was a very late call there. He peeled off at the last second. Kind of looked like it caught Jordan Ross out a little bit as well. But interesting tactical decision. 14 and a half laps to go. So pretty much bang on, split it in three for Dylan. Be interesting to see if he comes out in clear air and can utilise fresh tyres for the next stint.
Yeah, definitely a bit of work to be done still. But you can see here, Gamble and Gibbs, they're still toe-to-toe. We've seen Jones, McNamara, Vlasbon, Nixon, Schultz and McDonald go in. So definitely a 9.5 call to come in on lap 32. Now we'll see how that pans out for him as a team.
Dylan Rudd's come out behind Damien Johnson, which I'm sure he probably wouldn't be happy about, but looks like he's already got past Damien. So Dylan well on his way. He'll be looking to undercut Jacob O'Reilly here on this opening lap. Big lock up down.
Chad Lewis, Brady Baldwin, side by side. Get the job done at Adelaide. And Connor Nixon, he's side by side with Scotty Gamble. Sorry, not Scotty Gamble, with Scotty Van Loon. Nixon's going to get through there. And Ross and O'Reilly are in, Mark.
Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see where Dylan comes out in terms of position with these two.
He's jumping on board with Dylan now. As we see Johnstone head into the pits, Dylan's going to roll out. He's moved himself to P2.
Good pit strategy there from the Lob Esports team. He's been able to clear Jacob O'Reilly quite comfortably, and Jordan Ross being able to jump Jacob as well. We thought that might be the case with Jacob taking a shorter first stop, so Cam Jones is the one that's going to be not too far behind Jacob O'Reilly now.
Yeah, and Scotty Gamble out in front of Gibbs. Still got 14 laps to go here. There's still a fair bit's going to happen. Blanchard and Van Loon are in the pits. And Aaron Gilbert as well. James Scott still needs to make his second stop, but he's got a 43-second lead.
Probably getting sunburned with that arm out the window.
I was just thinking he's probably got enough time to go through the drive-thru and get himself a coffee. Just going to jump a bit further back, check on Zachary Vlasbom. He has Teo Serrano in front of him, who's up 20 spots. And the other man who has done really well, up 22 spots, is Brenton Hobson in the 88. Hobbo having a really good drive here.
Yeah, cracking drive from Hobbo. You're probably thinking, how couldn't I get a qualifying lap in? But it's been the tale of the season for some drivers this season, is under pressure, under qualifying, and not being able to nail a lap. But yeah, Hobbo's done a great job, like you said, up 23 spots. Teo Serrano as well, up 21. And
someone in the back row.
And Hobbo all over the back of Tim Mulford there.
And Zachary Vlasbom.
Yeah, I just saw Zach going slow through that last chicane. That possibly was a slowdown.
I think he's found the wall, Mark. Not quite the wall, but definitely 90 degrees to it. Not the fast line out of the final corner. As James Scott is into the pits. And Gamble still under pressure from Robbie Gibbs, and has Cam Jones in his sights up front. Just a reminder as we get into these closing stages, Mark, with 11 and a half to go, that last corner on Lai Chi, with that slowdown that some of the guys get, you have to be so careful on that last lap not to get a slowdown, because you will carry a penalty across the line. It'll be 40 seconds, I believe. So that will really hurt these guys in that last lap if they get that slowdown. So that's just something just keep an eye on when we get to the final results.
Yeah, that's something that really could ruin a championship. Interesting that Cam Jones was able to jump both Scotty Gamble and Robert Gibbs in that second round of pit stops. He was behind both them drivers going into the pits and managed to jump them in pit lane. So as we always say, most weeks it's easier to pass with pit strategy than it is on the track.
Interestingly too, Jones and Gamble both stopped for 12 seconds. Gibbs stopped for 10.9. So very interesting times in that battle there as well, Mark.
Yep, Jones running a bit deep there in a few corners, and Scotty Gamble's able to close that gap down, but they're all still pushing forward. And yeah, what have we got? We've only got 11 laps to go now, so not that long for these boys, but certainly enough laps for something to go horribly wrong for everybody still on the track.
Yeah, definitely a tough gig for a lot of these guys tonight. Let's go jump back on Timmy Mulford, side by side with Teo Serrano. Serrano's going to get through him move up into 12th. A great drive from the Altus Australia car. He'd be very happy with his outcome there.
Yeah, Teo's had a good race tonight. Bit disappointing his outing last week, but yeah, he's managed to string together a good race so far tonight. So put him in good stead for tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, definitely be looking to do that. Just going to have a quick look at the Viz. It's in a great little battle here with Dave Kirby. And Dave definitely having a cracking battle here. Scotty Van Loon catching up to the back of these boys too. So I'll keep an eye on that one towards the end of the race. And we're going to go back up to Dylan Rudd. A little bit of traffic making life difficult here. Ross hanging onto the back. Pavlich getting out of the way nicely for these two guys to fight on.
Yeah, Rudd and Ross have really been able to open that gap on Jacob O'Reilly since that pit stop. Jacob wasn't stopped that much longer than people around him, but yeah, that gap certainly opened up with Rudd and Ross.
Definitely a few little battles. Going to go back to Robbie Gibbs. He's definitely pushing Gamble along now.
Yeah, these boys have probably worked the hardest all night, I think. Jones, Gamble and Robbie Gibbs. They've, like I said, they've traded places quite a few times over the course of the race, and they're still pushing each other very, very hard.
Yeah, definitely been a contest for these guys. Great little camera shot, shows the undulations of this circuit. They're not great, but they're enough just to change the balance a little bit as you see Gamble with a wider line in, tighter line out. Great little corner 180. Couple of different lines the guys can drive.
Yeah, probably a corner you have to learn a couple of different lines because it's so easy to miss your brake mark or run a fraction too deep there, and you've got to rework it to get out of there with as much speed as you can. So many tricky corners on this track.
Yeah, definitely a tough little track. Great little hit out for these boys. To these
So we're down to, sorry John, down to 9 laps to go, and yeah, it's starting to evaporate pretty quickly for these boys. James Scott, Dylan Rudd, Jordan Ross, Jacob O'Reilly, Cam Jones, Scott Gamble, Robbie Gibbs, Sean McNamara, Craig Johnson and Chad Lewis is our top 10. Good to see Chad Lewis hanging in there and still running in the top 10.
Has done very well this evening, but he does have Brenton Hobson charging him down, so keep an eye on that one. With the number of laps to go, I reckon Hobbo will be on the back of him by the end of it. So some good little battles elsewhere. Ty Delaney, this is battle for 25th. He's tucked right up behind Aaron Gilbert. Simon Chadwick running behind him as well. Great little learning ground for Ty.
Yeah, it was a tough initiation for him tonight. He qualified reasonably well, but then got that early black flag and had to serve a drive-through penalty. So not a bad effort to get back to 25th for the youngster. He's still very young, but doing a great job.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how he goes tomorrow night as well. Definitely has strong ambitions trying to get himself into the main game. And we wish him all the best for that one. Just going to go back forward again, check on Riley Bilson. We haven't mentioned his name too much this evening. Riley, of course, there's Connor Nixon catching up behind him. So Connor definitely be trying to knock on the door here, get himself up another spot. Trying to hang on to O'Reilly and McNamara. McNamara in 8th, O'Reilly up in 4th, so he'll be getting good quality points this evening. And work our way up to the next battle pack, of course, is Gibbs, Cam Jones and Scotty Gamble. Scotty Gamble seems to have dropped Gibbs a little bit here now. Is knocking on the door of Jones. So these two are battling all night.
We've seen this all race, John, where drivers are tucked right up under the rear wing, and then all of a sudden they're 5 car lengths behind. And we did see Cam Jones with quite a gap over Scotty Gamble a couple of laps ago, and that is down to absolutely nothing at the moment. So just goes to show you, it only takes a small mistake to lose plenty of momentum.
Yeah, it doesn't take a hell of a lot. Just going to jump back on Nixon quickly for a second. He knocking on the door of Bilson there. That gap had closed right down. Bilson's managed to hang on to that one. Going back up the Rudd, that's getting very close as well. He's under pressure from Ross now. Lap 40 or 46 has started.
Yeah, Jordan Ross working supremely hard there to tack onto the back of Dylan Rudd. A little bit squirrely coming out of Estoril, but heading up into Adelaide, the gap really closes it down quickly, but you'll see Dylan just extend that gap on the exit a little bit. But yeah, there's absolutely nothing in this one, and yeah, 6 laps to go. Dylan still looking pretty comfortable, Jordan as well. The man is super comfortable at the moment is James Scott, way out in front.
Yeah, James, another dominating performance. As you can see, Ross now dropping back a little bit from Rudd.
Gamble and Jones still touching rear bumper and front bumper at the moment. There's absolutely nothing in this battle, and Scotty Gamble doing a great job to put the pressure on Cam Jones. Because Robbie Gibbs not far behind, just waiting for everything to go pear-shaped for these two so we can bounce.
Definitely waiting. See, not much in this little gap here. All 3 of them attacking those curves very hard as well. Of course, it's the corner where you really want to have those tyres in good nick. Get as much drive as you can coming out so you can attack down into the Adelaide hairpin. Gamble not going to have the legs to have an attack this time by, or is he? Gets it on the inside. Has Jones got anything to come back at him with? Coming down into the Nürburgring complex, side by side. Gibbs looking to have a bit of this as well. It looks like might have been a slowdown maybe for Gamble. Gamble gets shuffled back behind Gibbs.
Yeah, a bit of door banging there, cost Scotty Gamble his position. Don't think there was a lot in it, it was just door-to-door racing. Always tough going through that part of the track side by side, because you miss time it, you run out onto that inside ripple strip too much, you're going to get a slowdown.
Of course, lap 42 or 46, if you're Scotty Gamble, you've got to have a go. No point sitting back there now wondering. But still a long way to go. Head down for Scotty. Keep an eye on Robbie Gibbs now. Robbie Gibbs putting the pressure on Cameron Jones. Got that gap closed right up for the Evolution Racing team. Goes a bit wide. Could be the different line he's going to use for Estrol. Who's going to get the power down the first here? We saw Gamble shut down Jones last time. Jones goes to the inside this time to protect early. As we come around through Gulf, start pointing it down into Adelaide. Gamble still in the back there. Gibbs has to go to the outside as Jones holds the inside line. Does this give him a slow exit out here? Looks like it does. Gibbs is going to put the move on Jones. This time it's going to be Gamble looking to pick up the pieces in the middle. Gibbs doesn't get the job done though.
No, I think Robbie saw what happened last time going too wide through there and decided it's probably not the place to try and execute a pass. Use his patience and maybe look at possibly going into Adelaide or the second last corner next time round.
These guys, this is a cracking battle. Of course, still got a battle up front between Rudd and Ross as well. See how hard they hit those curbs coming out of Lychee. It sort of slowed Gamble down just a fraction. It's allowed the gap to open up for the two lads in front. They are using everything they can up ahead there. Cam Jones under a lot of pressure here. Not many laps to go, 3.5.
Yeah, it could be a long 3.5 laps for Cam Jones, I think, but still doing a pretty good job out there. Goes a little bit defensive again. We saw he did this last time and Gibbs was able to get a much better exit. But, oh, they're almost 3 wide here. I think Gibbs is going to possibly get the job done this time.
No, tucks in. He just has enough room. Not much given there by Gamble as well. Oh, he's locked the brakes up. This is going to hurt Gibbs. He had a crack. He's gone wide. Gamble's back through.
Certainly didn't die wondering there, Robbie. He knew he didn't want to go through too wide, but the previous corner. But yeah, he thought he'd go a little bit deeper under brake. Didn't work out for him. Good on him for having a crack. Gamble now has a go.
Oh, tough spot to do it up at the shadow.
It wasn't far off getting it done there.
No, has come down into Lychee. Need a good exit out of here. Don't rule out Robbie Gibbs there. He's lurking in the background. This is a great little battle from these guys. Been very entertaining. So a nice good exit there from Gamble. Gibbs is going to come with him. Both of them tucked in the draft now. Coming down into the Adelaide hairpin again. Very defensive from Jones. So opens the door up, does it for allow Gibbs to get underneath Gamble. Side by side again. Who's got the nose here? Gamble might be through, Mark. He is.
Yeah, great work from Scotty Gamble. He just was relentless with the pressure there. We saw him go door to door through that complex a few laps ago where Scotty came off second best and dropped a couple of positions, but now he's got both of them back, and just over 2 laps to go, he's going to look at closing this one out in P5 if he can.
And does that look like Jones has a slowdown, Mark? He just let Gibbs through there.
Yeah, quite possibly. I didn't see a black flag. I saw Jordan Ross has got a slow down on my screen at the moment, but I didn't see Jones with one, but I might have missed that.
So we are now about the start of the penultimate lap. And he's going to stay with these guys. These guys definitely been providing the entertainment. Scotty Gamble has his nose in front. 2 to go. Of course, it's been the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th. These guys had a cracking little tussle amongst themselves. James Scott well out in front by 21 seconds from Dylan Rudd. 2 seconds back to Jordan Ross, another 7.5 back to O'Reilly, and then 11 or 12 seconds back to this battle here. But these three guys, Gamble, Gibbs and Jones, been going at it quite hard. Jones has dropped right off these guys though, Mark.
Yeah, not sure what happened with Cam Jones there, but he's certainly dropped off. I don't know, he may have short fuel. I don't know if he's looking like he might have to fuel save for this last lap and a half, but yeah, he's definitely dropped off the back of this pack.
As Dave Coleman nicely tucks out of the way. Great race awareness. Start the last lap. And Gibbs right up behind here. Let's just stay with this as we go down into Adelaide, then we'll lose these boys. Jump back up to our guys up the front. It's going to be a bit interesting, a little bit of traffic in the mix here as well. And who gets the good drive out? Bit of side by side, but it looks like Gamble will hold on to that one. But tonight's been all about this fella. This is the man, the myth, the legend. He has dominated us once again. Congratulations to James Scott, bringing home the victory. Teammate Dylan Rudd, 22 seconds down the road. Going to come home in P2 for Lob Esports. A great drive from Dylan as well, under a lot of pressure from Jordan Ross all night. Jordan Ross going to come home in P2. Great drive from Jordan. Sorry, P3 to Ross, Rudd P2, Jacob O'Reilly. He's definitely going to give his chances a good shot for the golden ticket. Scott Gamble. Great battle with Robbie Gibbs all night. Brings it home in 5th.
Robbie Gibbs.
Oh. That will hurt. Didn't lose any spots though, Mark.
Oh, it was pretty close, but yeah, he held on to P6. Probably not the way he wanted to finish, but him, Jones and Gamble put on a cracking race all night for us tonight. Congrats to James Scott and Dylan Rudd from Lob Esports. Clearly the benchmark team in the series at the moment, and James Scott the benchmark driver by a fair margin. Sean McNamara, Damien Johnson, Brenton Hobson, outstanding job to sneak his way into the top 10 after starting off pretty much the back of the grid.
Yeah, up 25 spots. Hubbo will be very happy with that one. As James decides to light up some tyres. A great little victory from James there. He'd be pretty chuffed for that one, Mark, I think. Definitely team will have a pretty good setup to work with, I think, going into tomorrow night. And an incident involving Anthony Visma has been noted. So not sure when that one occurred. Might just take time to have a quick look at an incident, though, involving Russell Gander and Dave Coleman. So not sure what happened here. And looks like Blake Gallen on the outer edge there as well. He's gone wide. Russell Gander's just lost it. Left nowhere to go for Coleman. So, I think bit of a tough gig, that one.
Just looking at the leaderboard there, it looks like Robbie Gibbs has been given a penalty, iRacing penalty, because he's down in 13th, and that's elevated Cam Jones to 6th. Sean McNamara has been able to pick up a valuable position, putting him into 7th. So he's only finished 3 spots behind Jacob O'Reilly, which was a pretty tough outing for Sean tonight. He got involved in a couple of incidents very early on and really never made the ground back up. So picked up a spot there for free at the end because Robbie Gibbs obviously given an iRacing penalty right at the end.
Yeah, that's going to hurt a lot for Robbie Gibbs. I'd be a bit upset with that one, I think. We did talk about it early on. Be very careful, be very wary when you go diving into that final corner on the last lap. We saw it with vets. Quite a few guys got caught out with it and got shuffled right down the leaderboard. Unfortunately, my board hasn't updated with that, but that's an SDK issue. And every time I hit that button, I lose everything else. I apologise for that as well. But James Scott has done really well again. I think he'll be pretty chuffed with his performances for the guys at Lobs Esports.
Yeah, James obviously very comfortable in the car tonight once again. I think he finished with nearly a 23-second gap to his teammate Dylan Rudd. So probably one of the biggest gaps we've seen this season between James and Dylan. Dylan, of course, was involved in his own various battles and didn't get the greatest of starts. So probably not really reflective of Dylan's outright pace. So, but all in all, great drive once again from James Scott, Dylan Rudd, Jordan Ross doing a fantastic job to jump on the podium as well.
Look, I'd have to say that Dylan would have had a fair bit of pressure put onto him from Jordan Ross as well, which would have played into the game as well in terms of how it all panned out. But let's have a chat. We'll start with James Scott. James, how did you find that one, mate? The setup looked like it was quite well balanced.
Yeah, went a massively different way with the setup compared to the last few weeks. So definitely was a lot better tonight. So I think I'm finally starting to get used to some new equipment as well. So yeah, no, the car felt really good tonight.
That's pretty good, mate. It looked like you got quite a clear gap ahead. You'd have to be pretty chuffed with the fact that you'd got yourself out to that 22-second gap. I think going into that last pit stop, you definitely had enough time on the board to get it done and dusted without any pressure.
Yeah. Certainly once, you sort of get that gap and I think they were, both Jaros and Dylan were on pretty similar, fuel to what I had to take at the last stop as well. So I didn't really have to do anything too outrageous, just sort of wait for them to pit and run a few more laps. And so just in case there's a safety car or something, you can have some fresh tyres to fight. But yeah, no, the car was on rails tonight. So definitely be following this direction a bit more.
Oh, that's good. And Dylan, how'd you find it, mate? You appeared to be under a lot of pressure from Jordan Ross for most of the evening.
Yeah, the car felt good. The driver just needed a bit of a tune-up, so driver wasn't there tonight, but car was good, and yeah, good battle with J-Ross throughout pretty much the whole race there, so it was good.
And what did you think of the supercar at the Magny Cours layout?
Yeah, it was fun to drive. Just it was hard to be consistent, and with the slowdowns as well, I found it hard to judge them, but yeah, I didn't mind it actually.
Yeah, it's a very good risk and reward circuit, which I thought was, well, when we raced at it with vets, it was really good. You could attack, but you had to be careful. I don't know whether you guys heard Robbie Gibbs involved in a little bit of I think it might have been a slowdown coming through the final corners, shuffles himself from 6th back to 13th. Sort of just shows that risk and reward that you've got to be so careful of at the circuit.
Yeah, that last chicane is pretty wild. doesn't really suit the V8 that well. The way that the car rides the bumps, you know, probably doesn't suit it that well. But honestly, I really enjoyed racing here this week. It was helped that the car was really good, but you know, I think it was a pretty fun layout and it's a pretty unique track. So, it was good fun.
Yeah, definitely a great little battle. And Jordan, you had to work extra hard there too, mate. You sort of definitely kept the pressure on Riley. Sorry, it's not on Riley. Sorry, on Dylan, but you also had a lot of pressure from Jacob O'Reilly there for a fair time as well.
It's late, Rexy. It's all right, mate. I won the. I'm pretty sure I won the slowdown count. I was driving like a bastard.
Yeah, I did see your name getting tiny little black flags in the entry list for a few laps there.
Yeah, I found all of the off tracks, so it was good. But that's all right. Bit of a tune up because I got a race here again tomorrow night.
Yeah, you're looking like, mate, you're starting to get some of your pace back that was missing last year.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Was that a compliment or an insult, Ross?
Don't know, but hey, a shout out to Jacob O'Reilly. I don't know what happened in his last pit stop, but he was keeping Dylan and I honest. It was good to race with him. He was doing really well.
Yeah, he's been the surprise packet for me since joining the series. He's shown good pace every week, and yeah, he's not far off to jumping on that podium.
Yeah, definitely. A big shout out to, while we're still talking about results, Blanchard got home in front of Dawson and Mulford, so he's going to take the kudos for the Super 2 boys, and Scotty Gamble will take the kudos for the Vets lads as well, getting home in front of McNamara. And
McNamara outside suicided me, so.
Shorty had a real crack there at the start, didn't he?
Yeah, he'll learn from that one.
Of course, Sean and Jacob battling for the Logitech G golden tickets, and Connor Nixon this evening managed to get himself back up to 13th, so he keeps his opportunities alive as well, and Cam Jones in that contest. Anyone you want to give a shout out to, Dylan James?
Yeah, I wish you all the guys at Lobs Esports. Good to see that we've finally, I don't know, gotten car a bit better. It's been pretty average the last few weeks. I know we've come away with some results, but hasn't really been all that easy or fun to drive, even though we've been at some pretty good tracks. So good to see that we've finally got some car pace back. Dylan as well, 1-2 for the team. It's awesome to see. And yeah, you guys for the broadcast and the race control guy. I don't think you had much to look at tonight, which is good.
Yeah, there's a few comments getting pumped into the chat, so I think they were a little bit quiet. So we'll have a little chat to them a bit later about that one. And Jordan, anyone you want to give a shout out to, mate?
Mate, thanks to you guys for rolling up and doing this. And I know what it's like for you, Rix. It's well past your bedtime, but here you are.
We're still going. We'll get there.
So thanks to all you guys behind the scenes that put all this on.
Of course, back again tomorrow night as well, except I'll be sitting in the steward's room, which will be another bit of fun back with the boys. And a big thank you, of course, to you, Mark, for jumping in and co-commentating with me. Your words of wisdom are really fantastic, and really appreciate everything you do. And huge thank you to our race control team, to the league admins with Ash and Josh. Always things are happening. And of course, next week's racing will be just as hot at the same time. Looking forward to where we wind up next week, which will be, I believe, I'm just trying to think out of memory here. I'm looking.
Hockenheim, is it?
Hockenheim, yes, it is. Hockenheim. That'll be another great little circuit. V8's go there really well, so looking forward to that one. Another suicide hairpin to dive into.
Is that the full course or outer or
Full course Grand Prix?
Oh, okay.
So,
Yep, good track for the V8. Should be a good race.
Get to see the old Mercedes complex. And on that note, we might wrap it up. I'll say good night to everybody in the chat as well. Great to have you out there. And Terry Taylor, say good day to your mum for me. Not at all.
Semi.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.